To say that the likes of Paul Pogba is going to recoup his value in shirt sales is just missing the mark when it comes to how these deals actually work. While there are some exceptions, the industry standard sees clubs receive an upfront payment and then around 10 or 15% of the revenue from shirt sales. One exception to this rule is Manchester United's deal with Adidas. Manchester United gets £75 million a year from Adidas as part of their licensing deal. That's over twice as much as any Premier League club receives. So I think as a result of this huge upfront deal, Adidas actually receives 100% of the shirt sale revenue. I think it's also important to note that football clubs are comparatively small business when it comes to the likes of Adidas and Nike. As an example, Adidas earns more in 6 months than Manchester United, one of the highest earning football clubs in history, has earned in their 138-year existence.
So there's really 3 elements to this. The first and the most crucial is the clubs agreeing terms. Ultimately, unless this happens, a deal simply won't get done. A great example of this was probably West Brom's approach to Saido Berahino last summer. The club was able to retain the player simply because it didn't agree to club-to-club terms to allow the player to be released. Provided that does happen though, the next stage is that the player or his intermediary stroke agent agrees terms, personal terms for the player with his club. And then the final element is that the agent, now known as an intermediary, agrees his commission. Typically, it's around 5% of the guaranteed salary of the player for the term of his contract. As we've read in the press this summer, there are certain high-profile deals where the agents or intermediaries may have brokered much higher commission rates than 5%.
Most transfer deals have confidentiality clauses which prevents all parties involved from discussing the financial terms in public. So in order for a journalist to report on the financial nature of a transfer, he must first have sources on either side of the table who are willing to talk about the deal off the record. So that requirement alone means that over 99% of those writing about football will be completely left in the dark. For those journalists who have cultivated these well-placed sources, their information can vary wildly depending on which side of the table that source is on. So for example, with the transfer fee, a source on the buying club may just cite the basic transfer fee to make it seem like that club got a bargain. However, a source on the selling club may cite the basic transfer fee, the sell-on clause, the performance bonuses to make it seem like they got the great deal.